In this video, we're going to be replacing the power steering pump on this 2008 Acura MDX. Alright, so now with our serpentine belt tool, we can get on our tensioner. The end that we need is a 14 millimeter. And push to the rear of the vehicle. And what we're looking to do is take our serpentine belt off of the power steering pump pulley. Just a little bit more. Okay, we can take that right off the pulley. And while you're doing this, try and hold upward pressure on the belt so it doesn't come off the other pulleys down below. What I like to do here, which we will do, just as a placeholder until I get one, is we're going to put a zip tie holding that belt up. We're just going to take that belt and that zip tie and just tie them with a little bit of upward tension, depending on the size of the zip tie you have. Try and go to a bracket. We're actually going to go to this bracket that the AC line is on, just to hold it up while we work. Okay. All right, so now you can remove your serpentine belt tool. All right, so to get a little access to take off our pulley, to gain access to the bottom power steering pump bolt, we're just going to take this off here. It's going to be a 10 millimeter. And now what we can do is use a pry bar, flat screwdriver, whatever you have to lock your wheel in a 19 millimeter shallow socket on the pulley bolt. Take the bolt off your pulley. There's your pulley. All right, so now we have two bolts to get to remove our power steering pump. One back here and one straight down underneath here. Before we do that, we'll remove our lines. So what we're going to do is disconnect our power steering lines from our pump and then remove our pump. Before you do that, you want to put some kind of spill protection down. You do not want to get power steering fluid on your serpentine belt or on the pulleys. It will cause them to slip. So once you have those protected, all we're going to do now is use a pair of hose clamps. We're going to clamp off our power steering fluid. Because we're clamping back here, there will be some leakage up front. Again, that's why we have our spill protection down. Now to start, we're going to remove the two top 10 millimeter bolts from our top line. All right, we're going to take one more spill pad or rag, whatever you have. We're going to set it up here. We're going to take this line right out and put it on that spill pad. Clean up any residue. Now, a long pair of needle nose pliers, we will take off the reservoir line. And this is connected to a plastic hose adapter, so you really don't want to pry too much. I'm going to use a pair of long needle nose just to break it free and work it backwards a little. Now we should be able to pull that line straight off. And right into our spill collection. Now what we can do is remove the two bolts holding the pump in place. They are 12mm bolts. So there's one here. The other one will be straight down underneath. Okay, with them both free, should be able to back them out. There's one. All right, so now we're going to remove our power steering pump. Just pull it straight out and up. And out. And we will be reusing that bolt. All right, so now with our new pump, we can lower it down into place. And start reinstalling our bolts. And just to make sure we drop no debris in our new power steering pump, we're going to cover our inlets and outlets. All right, now we can reinstall our bolts. All right, that's one started. Make sure our pump is in flush. And we can start the second. All right. Now that they're both started, we're just going to thread them in by hand. Torque down our power steering pump bolts. They are going to be torqued to 16 foot-pounds. Okay. All right, so now we can reinstall our lines. We'll start with the top line. Again, just make sure you have no debris on the bottom side of your hose. We can take our cap and our cover off of our pump, and we can press down our top line into place. Put our two 10mm bolts on. And these bolts are going to get torqued down to 8 foot-pounds. Now our next hose, on this black plastic assembly, we're just going to take our cover off. Just check for any debris. Everything looks pretty good. We can just slide our hose into place and reinstall our hose clamp. Grab your hose clamp, slide it back into position. All right, and we're just going to leave our hose clamp where it's accessible in the future. Now that we have our two lines connected, we can go ahead and release our pinch on our hose. Now what we can do is reinstall our old pulley onto our new pump. We're going to take our pulley, put it into position, and again with the pulley, there is not a right and a wrong way inside here. It's only going to go onto the groove one way, but this side is towards the pump itself. Just lower it into position and slide it onto the power steering pump. Press it back as far as it'll go. And we can put our bolt back in place. And again, with a 19mm socket and a small screwdriver or breaker bar to get in here. At this point, we can remove our drip collection up top, lock our wheel, tighten down that pulley. All right, so now we've got our pry bar in position here just to hold the pulley in place. We're just going to tighten up that bolt. All right, now that it's snugged up, we'll torque it down. All right, so now we can go ahead and torque this down. We're going to torque it to 47 foot-pounds. All right, from here, we can install our AC hose back up. Now what we're going to do is remove the spill protection we put down. And we're going to put our belt back into position. First thing we're going to do is look down, make sure it is in grooves of whatever you can see from the top side. If you can't see the bottom side, you may have to get underneath it. All we can see from here is our alternator, and that is in the groove. Now we'll cut our zip tie with putting upward pressure on the belt. We'll take our serpentine tool and get on our belt tensioner. And push to the rear of the vehicle, releasing our belt tensioner, allowing us to put our belt around the power steering pump pulley. All right, so we got it in the grooves on the bottom. And we can just roll our top in and slowly release your serpentine tool and take it out.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.